The journey of Ibn Fadlan began in Baghdad, charting a course across vast lands to the cold north.
The Golden Heart of the Abbasid Caliphate, a city where the scent of jasmine mingled with the ink of 1,000 scholars. Amidst this splendor, a sophisticated diplomat and jurist named Ahmad Ibn Fadlan received a commission that would change his life and history forever. King Almush of the Volga Bulgars had requested a mission to teach his people the laws of faith and to help build a fortress for protection. Little did Ibn Fadlan know that leaving the marble palaces of Baghdad would lead him into the mouth of a wilderness that existed only in the terrifying whispers of travelers. As the caravan pushed north, the world as Ibn Fadlan knew it began to dissolve. The lush gardens of Mesopotamia were replaced by the desolate frozen steppes of Central Asia. Here, the diplomat encountered a cold so malevolent it defied description. In his journals, he wrote of a winter that turned the earth into stone, where the ground cracked with a sound like rolling thunder. The wind felt like 1,000 needles piercing his skin, and the party was forced to wrap themselves in layers of furs until they could barely move. "I saw a man's beard turn to solid marble," he noted, as they navigated a landscape where the sun offered light but no warmth. A place he feared was the gateway to the legendary lands of ice. After months of hardship, the mission reached the banks of the mighty Volga River. It was here that Ibn Fadlan came face to face with a sight that would mesmerize the world for centuries: the Rus, the ancestors of the Vikings. His description remains one of the most vivid in historical records. He saw men who were giants, tall as palm trees, with skin as pale as straw and eyes like the gray, churning sea. But it was their skin that truly startled him. From their fingernails to their necks, every inch of their bodies was covered in dark, intricate tattoos of trees and ancient symbols, a permanent forest etched into their flesh. Yet, for all their physical perfection, Ibn Fadlan found their customs savage. He observed them with a mix of awe and disgust, noting their lack of hygiene compared to the refined rituals of Baghdad. They shared water in a single basin, a practice that shocked a man raised on the purity of the ritual wudu. He watched as they lived a life of raw, unbridled vitality, trading furs and swords on the riverbanks, completely indifferent to the sophisticated laws of the South. The climax of his journey, however, was a ritual of fire and blood, the funeral of a Viking chieftain. Ibn Fadlan was an eyewitness to a scene that felt like a nightmare made manifest. He watched as the chieftain's longship was hauled onto the shore, filled with extravagant silks, weapons, and sacrificed animals. He described a terrifying figure known as the Angel of Death, an old woman who presided over the ritual sacrifice of a slave girl who was to accompany her master to Valhalla. As the ship was set ablaze, Ibn Fadlan stood on the banks of the Volga, the heat of the fire clashing with the icy wind, watching a vessel of death turn into a pyre that lit up the northern sky. Before his return, Ibn Fadlan witnessed one final mystery: the aurora borealis. In the deep of night, the sky erupted in dancing ribbons of emerald and crimson. He described the clouds as armies of ghosts clashing in a celestial battle. To his hosts, these were the spirits of the fallen, but to Ibn Fadlan, it was a terrifying and divine spectacle that marked the edge of the world. Ahmad Ibn Fadlan returned to Baghdad not just as a diplomat, but as the world's first great travel writer. His manuscript, a raw and honest window into a forgotten world, bridged the gap between the refined East and the wild North. It stands today as a testament to a man who journeyed